welcome back, or if you're new here, hello and welcome. My name is Leah and thank you so much for joining me today. I do have a little bit of a cold, so I'm hoping I'm able to enunciate and talk through the nasaliness and all that sort of thing, so things are a little different, that's why. Today is a very special day for me because I am collaborating with my friend Julia from Julia Bees Beauty, and we are both going to be going over our top 5 favorite products from the month of September. Julia is a beautiful woman. She lives in the Czech Republic and she is my kindred spirit, I suppose you would say, when it comes to makeup. We feel the same way about how it makes us feel and just have a lot of similar opinions when it comes to things to do with makeup. Again, she is in the Czech Republic, so she has a different viewpoint on some of the things that are available and how easily accessible they are. And it's kind of interesting to see her take on things from that viewpoint, and to hear her talking about things that maybe we can't get here or that don't come to us as often or as quickly as what she can get them. Julia does a lot of unboxings on her channel. She does makeup tutorials and she does reviews. She is very articulate and she has those little moments where she throws in some humor, which just makes me giggle and enjoy her videos all the more. I will leave Julia's video and her channel linked in the description box below so that you can go and check her out. So as I mentioned, I am going to be sharing with you the top 5 products that I had for the month of September. So to start things off, I almost dropped it. I caught it. I have the Annabelle eye primer, and this is in the shade Beige. Now when I went to the store, this was the only shade they had and it was the only thing kind of marked on the shelf, so I'm not sure if they have plans to have any more out or if this is all they have, but this is what I have nonetheless. And it's an eye primer. It is in a pot and it looks like this. It does have a little bit of color to it. I'm not sure if it's going to pull up or show up on my hand at all. So it's really nice. I don't have a lot of discoloration on my lids, but I do have like one red dot on my one eyelid and it covers that up really nice. This is a really nice formula. It's a little bit thicker than what you might find in a tube with the doe foot applicator. But that being said, it doesn't make my eyelids look crepey or older or wrinkly or anything like that, like some of them do when I use it. So I really like this. I mean, I imagine this is what a paint pot might be like, but I've never used one, so I don't know. I'm just going by the fact that it's in a pot and it's eye primer. Again, don't have any comparison to it, so don't know, but I really like this. It works really well. It has a little bit of a tacky base. It's a little bit thicker than something that would have a doe foot. So I do recommend, if you are going to use this and you're going in especially with a matte shadow, that you set it with translucent powder or a brow bone shade or that sort of thing, just to get a layer between this and your actual shadow. Otherwise it will skip when you put it on. Shadows are really hard to blend out if you just go onto this directly, but that being said, it's really nice when you're using like a shimmer on the lid. A lot of times I haven't had to wet my brush because this just pulls that pigment out and makes it look and sparkle the way I want it to without wetting the brush. There have been occasions where I did just to oomph it up a little bit, but for the most part this works really well in that respect. It also works really well at holding the shadow on my lids from the morning until the night. It doesn't crease. It looks really good and I've really been enjoying this. I was surprised at how much I like this. I only picked this up because I did a video, link it in the cards here, of a makeup look with all Canadian brands, and so I needed an eye primer and I picked this up out of the blue, and it has been the one that I've been reaching for all month long. The next item that I have is a hair mask, and it is by Grace and Stella, and it's the Rescue My Hair Mask with Argan Oil. It's a little bit kind of gross looking because it was in my shower for a while. It's now in my tub because I realized that's where I use it the best. But anyway, it is this big tub and it does have an expiry and manufacturer date on it, which is kind of nice. I have used quite a bit of it and it's just really nice. Anytime I have used this, I have the best hair day the next day because I use this at night. Not all the time, but when I use it, I'll use it at night, and the next day, every time, my hair, I'm just like, the first time I used it, I'm like, what did I do different? Because my hair looks really good. And then it happened consistently after I use this all the time, and I realized that this is what it was. I don't know, it takes the frizz away, and it just makes my hair and my curls a little bit bouncier. When I initially use it, and I'm washing it out, it doesn't feel particularly like softer or anything miraculous when I first used it, but after it's dry, like after my hair has dried, that's when I see the difference and my hair feels softer and it just looks nicer. The only thing that I have to say with this, which might be a turn off for some, is it does have a very strong scent to it. For me, I don't mind because it brings back a lot of memories for me. It almost, and I don't know if this is just me picking up on a certain part of the scent or if everyone would get it, but it smells like aftershave, and specifically I think it was the Nivea aftershave. My grandfather, my Opa, he always had this certain scent to him, and it was his aftershave, and I'm pretty sure if I can picture the bottles from his bathroom correctly, it was Nivea that he used. And it smells like him. It smells like his aftershave, so it has a very good memory for me when I use it, and that's what I think of, but it is very strong. You smell it the entire time it's on your hair. After you wash it out and your hair dries, it does dissipate. It's not strong by any means then, but when it's on your head, it is super strong. It's enough that I could see it giving someone a headache if they were sensitive to scents and that sort of thing. So if you are, then I wouldn't recommend this at all. But if you aren't sensitive to scents and you don't mind something that maybe has that more masculine scent to it, again, it dissipates, it washes out, it doesn't linger after you've taken it off, but it works beautifully in the hair. I highly recommend this. Next up is something that I think I've shared as a favorite before. It's by Essence, and it is their Eyebrow Designer, and it is just their eyebrow pencil. It has this kind of weird brush thing as the spoolie, which has its place, I have found. While I prefer a normal spoolie for just blending out my brows, this works really good just to kind of crisp up that tail and make it more sharp on the end. So it works okay for that. It does have a place, even though it's a little odd. But it is just a regular pencil liner eyebrow pencil that you sharpen. And I know that's not for everyone. For me, I really like it because I get a fresh tip every time. I do like a micro tip pencil as well, but this works really good because you can sharpen it and get a fairly fine point with it. It's one of those pencils that is creamy enough that it goes into your brows and it doesn't pull your brow hairs out. It leaves the pigment that you want without having to really like push and jab it down or anything like that. It glides on. It feels really nice when it's going on. It has almost like a wet cooling effect to it. Again, I don't know if that's just me that's getting it from it, but it just feels really nice when you're putting it on. But on the other hand, it's not so creamy that it's going to goop up in your brows like some brow pencils do. And it's not so creamy that when you blend it out, it's going to end up here on your forehead. So it's kind of like the perfect consistency for me. I really do like this brow pencil. I've gone through several of them, and it's definitely one that I always go back to. I mean, I like several different brow pencils, especially micro tip ones, but as for pencil ones that we sharpen or that can be sharpened, this is by far my favorite. My fourth favorite for the month of September is by Revolution Beauty, and it is their Revolution Pro Foundation Drops. This particular one is in the shade F12. It's a couple shades darker than what I am now, but this works fabulously for mixing with my foundations that I use pretty much all year except for summertime. It just boosts up those foundations in the shade so that it matches me now. My tan has faded from the summer a little bit, but not enough that I'm into those shades that I normally wear in the winter and spring, but it's not dark enough. My tan isn't dark enough anymore to be wearing the summer shade that I always wore. So this is something that has come in handy just to make those foundations the right shade that I need them. Depending on how much I add, I can get the perfect shade for what I need for the month of September. This isn't something I would use all year, but definitely right now, this is something that I can use without having to buy another shade of foundation. Depending on how many drops of this I put into my foundation, I can adjust the level of the shade for what I need depending on how much my tan has faded throughout the month. So definitely something that I have enjoyed using and put to good use. My last favorite for the month of September is a mascara, and it is by Catrice, and it is their Glam and Doll Volume Mascara in Waterproof. And I had recently heard, I think it was So Carry On talking about this, and she had put it in a fail. And I had already used this once or twice when she talked about it, and she was talking about how I think it smudged or flaked on her or something like that. And I'm like, I don't remember that happening when I wore it, but I hadn't really paid much attention to it. So then I went back and I started using this again throughout the month just to see. I'm like, am I going to get the same results? And I just didn't notice or what? So I started using it, and I didn't have those results at all. I find it works really good for me. It doesn't smudge, it doesn't flake. It gives me really good volume and length, and it kind of does for me what I want a mascara to do. Having said that, I do wear a lash primer when I wear waterproof mascara, so that might be the defining factor in why she had more problems with it than what I do. But yeah, it has been really good for me. It is a rubber bristle wand, which I do find I gravitate towards more. I just find it's easier to brush out my lashes, get any clumps out that I might have, and just fan them out into the look that I want when it's a rubber bristle when it's a rubber bristle wand. So I do prefer them, and I like the shape of it as well. It's really easy to get into my inner corners with it, and it's really easy to get the lower lash line with it. It's not so huge that it's going to make a mess or anything like that, and it wears really good. If anything, I would have to say this is really hard to get off at night, which as for a waterproof mascara, I kind of appreciate that, because some are so easy to come off. They come off when my eyes get teary, and it kind of defeats the purpose of it being waterproof. But this one does take a little bit more effort. I do have to let the oil sit on my eyes for about 15 to 30 seconds before it really breaks down the mascara and I can get this off without tearing out all my lashes. But it is possible, and I do like how it works. I also like how it looks. I was in the van with my daughter. We were driving around, and she looked at me. She's like, "Mom, do you have false lashes on?" And I'm like, "No, I don't." She's like, "Oh, you just have too much mascara on." And I looked at her and I'm like, "Who is this child? You cannot be my child, because there is no such thing as too much mascara, and I have taught you that." But at any rate, she thought I had false lashes on originally, so that tells me that this is doing what I want it to, because that's what I want my mascara to look like. I do have a runner-up for the month of September, and had this not been a favorite, then this definitely would have been a favorite for me. And it's another mascara. It's by Essence. It's the Lash Princess False Lash Effect Mascara in waterproof. A lot of people have been talking about this, and this is really nice. It wears nicely, but I do find it flakes the teeny tiniest bit. Not a whole lot, not enough to make me mad, but it does flake, whereas I found the Catrice one didn't flake at all for me. The other difference with this is it's a similar shaped wand, but it's not rubber bristle. It's just those regular fibers, or regular whatever they are. Nylon. What are these? What's a regular mascara one made of? I don't know. It's not the rubber one. It's the other one. This does wear really nicely, and it looks really pretty on the lashes. It's not giving me as much oomph, I guess you could say, as the Catrice one does. I find the Catrice one just has a little bit more volume, a little bit more length. But this one is still nice nonetheless. I don't mind using it. I do like it, and this one is a lot easier to get off at the end of the day. It's still waterproof. It's not just going to come off unless you use an oil and that sort of thing, but it does kind of crumble away a lot easier once you get the oil on it than the Catrice one does. So if that's something you're concerned about, then I recommend trying this one out instead, because it is a little bit easier to get off. I still like the Catrice one a little bit better, but this one's still really good too. And those are all my favorites that I had for the month of September. Let me know in the comments below some of the items that you were enjoying this past month. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video, and don't forget to go and check out Julia's channel and her video as well. I hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.